And welcome, guys. Welcome to the Hair Wire, the place where you get hair smart. And this is your host, Sergio Cardona, coming to you live from beautiful Bayamón, Puerto Rico. It is nice to say that we're live again here at the Hair Wire. And with me, the beautiful crew of the Hair Wire, Bisan Dipsy and Carrie Jarrett. How you guys doing?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, great. Excited.
Doing great. This is the first week of summer for me with the kids home, so figuring out my new routine.
It's always good, to figure out how the routine is going to go in summer, because kids go crazy and they're off school, and those energies, they're going to go somewhere. Usually the fridge is the one who loses it all. I know that was my summer. My parents, they will go crazy every time it's summer because they knew that the fridge was going to pay the price. It will take a hit. Oh, yes.
We do have our garden. We could be like, go to the garden. There's tons of food. Have at her. Have all you want.
Hey, guys, with a special show, we have a special guest with us today. We have our friend, Kimberly Jenkins. How you doing, Kimberly?
I'm good. How are you?
Out from the South Florida. And for some reason, my screen, you guys can see me, right?
Yes, we see you and hear you, but go on.
All right. For some reason, I cannot see myself.
You look good. You look good.
Okay. As long as the show is live and you guys on YouTube are seeing me, then that's good. Because for some reason, my computer says it's not responding. So, hey, but we're here. We're live. Kimberly, thank you for accepting our invitation to the Hair Wire. We hope to see you more regularly.
Thank you for inviting me.
For those of you who do not know Kimberly, she is the head of Trichology at Bauman Medical Center in Boca Raton, Florida. One of the best places to get a hair transplant in the world, guys. So it is quite a privilege to have Kimberly here with us. First and foremost, Kimberly, why did you get into trichology? That's the main reason here, why all of us are here. Why do we got involved into this beautiful industry?
So for me, I think it started for trichology started for me before I even went to cosmetology school, but I don't think I understood at that time all the questions in my head. So I would wonder, before I even went to cosmetology school, I would wonder why certain ingredients or certain shampoos made your hair feel a certain way. And I was like, if they're putting chemicals in shampoos that make your hair a certain way, that can't be very good for your scalp after a while. But I didn't know then that that was the start of thinking about things when it comes to trichology. So later I went to, a few years later, I went to cosmetology school. I owned a salon, did a lot of hair, but I wanted to help people even further. I don't think I was satisfied just providing a service for someone when it just came to hair. I wanted to really help people understand their hair better and help people when it came to hair loss issues. So that's basically how I got into trichology. And then the position, by the grace of God, the position opened up for me to be able to work here at Bauman Medical. And I've been here since 2015.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. For those of you who are watching right now live, my image is frozen. So you will see a frozen image of myself, but we're waiting for, the computer to do the miracle here. And maybe if I get caught off or something, you guys can continue the interview. But Kimberly, okay, so you got into this business because you got interested into hair. Now that you have that experience working at Bauman, what is like, working as a trichologist, but with a hair transplant surgeon like Dr. Bauman?
It's totally different because me coming from salon, just regular salon life, to medical was like the way they do things is totally different. Like in the salon, we jot down color, right? It's a
Yeah.
simple color formulation. You jot down the patient's name. That's it. But the crossover between, cosmetology and medical, your notes have to be a lot more thorough. So I think that like that was probably it was a challenge for me in the beginning. I had to be very thorough with my note taking. Like there's so many things you need to ask. You have to be very thorough and you have to write everything down. So, but besides that being like something that I really had to adapt to, just being here, is like, it's amazing. And I think it's amazing because I think I get to see so many different scenarios. And so like no one day is ever the same. It's like they're doing hair transplant, they're doing PRP, TED treatments, PDO grow. There's so many different aspects of working here that I probably wouldn't see if I were just on my own. So.
Okay, I have a question for you, Kimberly. So how much is a challenge for a trichologist? Like, let us say a fresh graduate trichologist being hired in a medical office right away without any prior experience as a practicing trichologist, let's say. How big the challenge is, and like how like who will help you? Who will be able to help you get into the medical field?
Right. So when I started here at Bauman Medical, I didn't start as a practicing trichologist. You know what I mean? Like I actually didn't get my trichology until later, years later.
Right. I remember that. Right.
So how I started was that Dr. Bauman was going to bring in a certain type of hairpiece, a medical scalp prosthetic by an Italian company. I was going to come on as a contract employee to do the pieces. And that company had a trichology line, right? And so I learned that company had a trichology line, and the different things that it does. I was like, oh my God, this would be amazing. So I talked to Dr. Bauman about it. I was like, I don't think he knew about the trichology line. And so I talked to Dr. Bauman and he was like, okay, you'll have to do a lunch and learn in front of all the employees. So imagine, right? Imagine having to stand before all the Bauman medical employees and explain trichology. You know what I mean? And a trichology system and why, the things that you do for this system. But I did it. And, needless to say, I got hired. But for people that are not practicing and want to get into a medical clinic, my best piece of advice would be you got, not that you have to sell yourself, but you have to show what the difference is between having you and not having you. Like, what can you bring? What do you have to offer to that practice that will take that practice to the next level? You know what I mean? Hindsight, looking now, like, I don't think I understood back then the importance of me being where I am now and how it's a benefit and it's an addition to the practice. And I can say, like, we're the only transplant, clinic that I know of that has a trichologist on staff, but it's so beneficial. You know what I mean? There's patients that come in that need transplant surgery, that need a scalp treatment done before their surgery. There are people that come in that need, even before PRP, we might need to do a scalp treatment. There are people that come in that need thorough scalp evaluations. Like, there's so many benefits to adding a trichologist to a medical practice. However, you have to it has to be a doctor that has the vision
Right.
and not see just where you are right now, but forward thinking. And that's one thing I love about Dr. B is that he's a visionary and he always looks ahead. So yeah, so I hope that helped.
So like there's two things I want to comment about that. You will be a great person to shed like to teach other trichologists who's starting or they want to find a way into a medical office. You can
Right.
give them all the tips and advices. I think you're the best one to do that. And my second comment is you were saying about PRP and doing her surgery before the scalp got treated, like prepped basically. So a lot of her surgeons, patients, dermatologists don't understand how important prepping the canva first before doing anything. Can you do PRP with a head full of psoriasis or head full of sebum or right?
Yeah,
So,
no, not at all. And one thing I do appreciate Dr. Bauman is the fact that he respects my opinion.
Nice.
You know what I mean? It is one thing to work with the doctor and you can tell the doctor, hey, I don't think that we should do this or this and this. And the doctor doesn't have to listen to you. At the end of the day, you know, they went to college for all these years, but the fact that Dr. B takes my opinion and he values what I say, like, it makes me feel good because like I feel valued and that my opinion matters, you know?
And this is a great piece. Sorry to keep interrupting, but this is a great piece. A lot of employers don't get it, that we also went to school. And for example, you're a trichologist, he's a hair transplant surgeon. So 2 opinions is better than 1 opinion. And the more empowering the employers will be for us, the more we give.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely true. So we also have a nurse practitioner. So here we have Dr. Bauman, we have our nurse practitioner, Trina, and then we just hired a new nurse practitioner. But even like when Trina has consultations with, because Dr. B does the surgical, he'll do the surgical consultations. So anybody that wants to do surgery, you're going to be tracked to Dr. B. Anybody that wants non-invasive, you know, treatments, they're going to be tracked to Trina. So even if Trina's having a consultation with the patient and they do a scalp check and it might be an issue on the scalp that, you know, the techs might not be too sure of, or Trina might look at that area and be like, oh, I'm not too sure. Let me bring our trichologist in. You know, they'll have me come in and take a look at the scalp. And if I'm like, you know, maybe this is something we need to dig a little deeper, why don't you come back in and we'll have a thorough consultation, scalp consultation. Or if not, then I'll set them an appointment for a scalp treatment. So
Yeah,
it's really been, but one thing I can say, like there's no perfect roadmap to this. I think honestly, we're building and we're learning as we're growing. Does that make sense? Like there's nobody that we could look at their guidelines on how to have a trichologist at a doctor's office. There was no guideline. So we're learning and we're building as we go. And, you know, prayerfully, maybe I will be the example for other people that want to get into a doctor's office because it's an amazing opportunity. Like I can't explain it. Like, I know for sure I would, if I was on my own, half of the things that I've either put in my hands or the different types of scalp issues, I would have not seen on my own.
That is, very well.
That is beautiful, you know, the type of opportunity. And of course, you guys are writing history as you're moving along. And, you know, the reason to it is, like you just mentioned, you know, the fact that no one else is doing what you guys are doing, first of all. Secondly, you are breaking the ground on the procedures. How do we select which goes to who? And that's something that a lot of doctors might feel fearful of walking into because there's no trail to follow other than the one that you guys are setting up, that you guys are establishing. So it makes a lot of sense, to many doctors who are considering into the future to bring in a trichologist to their practice, to talk to you guys and, maybe get a seminar on how to do things properly to incorporate a trichologist, because it is very important. Now, I wanted to get your view in, from the client's perspective, because most of our viewers are clients. And so we want to let them know why it is important to see a trichologist if they're really considering a hair transplant procedure for themselves.
So you want to see a trichologist because you want to make sure that your scalp is in the best shape as possible, because it's you want to make sure that you're going to have the best outcome.
Yes.
You're spending that much money into a service or a surgery, like you want to see the best benefits all the way around the board. So seeing a trichologist is going to make sure that your scalp is up to par. If it's not, a trichologist is going to be able to make sure that you take a few months and get your scalp and your hair to the best condition as possible before you go in for surgery, and then also help you after surgery to kind of hold your hand and to walk you along the way after surgery. Because guess what? Now you've just made a big investment. Where do you go now? What types of shampoo do you use? You know what I mean? That's a big investment that you've just spent to use like Dawn dishwashing liquid for your shampoo. No, seriously.
I know, because I have customers that they walk into my clinic and say, well, what kind of shampoo are you using? No, I'm using a dishwasher. What? Yeah. I actually had a guy come into my clinic and said that he will wash his hair with a degreaser solution, engine degreasing solution.
Yeah.
Is that the castor oil?
What's that?
No,
Yeah,
engine degreaser is a chemical used to clean engines, to remove oils from the engines. So this guy, he was a mechanic, and he will wash his hair with engine degreaser.
I even have some clients who swear by horse shampoo. I'm like, that's horse shampoo. You don't need.
I believe that most of them, they confuse the horse and tail shampoo type of thing to actually horse shampoo, but people will use all kinds of things. Even they will use dog's shampoo. Even the prescription kind. So it's crazy how many things people will actually do in the name of getting their hair back, in the name of trying to get something better. And for shorters, the only place that you will need to go is to a trichologist. If you go to a certified trichologist, someone who's serious, someone who's paying attention, someone who's doing the work, getting education, constantly updating on their education, that's someone is going to be able to help you and get the hair that you need. And of course, maybe keeping the hair that you have, because sometimes it's not a win battle, but you are able to keep your hair. Now, I wanted to ask you, Kimberly, because some clients, they will go to Bauman's to get a hair transplant, but maybe they will come to you first and they will start seeing some results. And have you had a patient that so far was maybe considering hair transplant, and the results that they got with you got them motivated enough to maybe say, I'm going to wait on the hair transplant for maybe later or something like that?
Yes.
It happens.
Yes.
I know that's something that Bauman doesn't want to hear, but it happens because people, they will see it like, wow, I'm getting my hair back. I actually stopped my shedding. My hair's looking amazing. I don't need a hair transplant. Or maybe that can wait. Maybe I can postpone that for later on.
Correct. Exactly.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying what Sergio is trying to say is that some people, they don't know that there's actually alternatives. There's actually solutions other than hair transplant. They start seeing hair thinning and it's like, oh, I need a transplant. But they have, like, a lot of people don't know what trichology is and what a trichologist is capable to do. So explain to us, like, when they come to you needing a hair transplant, but then when you explain what you can do, how they react.
Yeah, I've had some very happy clients that have wanted to come in for, either they've been referred, maybe Dr. B has referred them to me for another issue. Maybe the issue was just, okay, can you kind of clear up the scalp and let's see what's going on? So I've done that. And then I've been like, well, let's see what we can do on the trichology side first before we do transplants, before you jump into transplant surgery. Let's just see. You never know, anything can happen. So there's one particular patient that I'm thinking of that she did not do surgery, and we did treatments, and she was very, very, very happy, like seriously happy. So like that makes me feel pretty good on the inside, seriously.
That's the beauty of our industry. You were going to say something, Carrie. Sorry, I kind of cut you off. You were.
No, I just have a question because I have a lot of people ask me about getting transplants. Is there a time or like an age you say no, wait, or like is there an age limit?
I would say, you know what, everybody is different and every scenario is different. And the reason why the diagnosis would make the difference also compared to, so I would say, honestly, I think 18 is, this is me personally speaking, right? I think 18 to 21 is a little bit young. I think that when they're that young, I think that let's try, a multi-therapy approach first.
Yeah.
And then as they get a little bit older, then if there's no other, if you have just tapped out of every solution, then do surgery, but that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always of the mindset to start from the bottom and work your way up. And if you've exhausted everything, you've done the multi-therapy approach and you're still not satisfied, then let's do surgery. There's been plenty of people that have come to the practice that have just seen me as a trichologist, and I've transferred them over to Dr. Bauman for transplant surgery. So that happens also, you know what I mean? Because a person can only grow as much hair as God gave them in the beginning,
True.
We can't get anything outside of that. So if they're not happy with that, then they have to go see Dr. B.
Yeah, but you said something very important. There is younger guys, usually the hormonal still not like set, they're still going up, like in puberty, or 18 to 21, maybe they will get some increase in testosterone or whatever not. So like, I would say, like, also, I would be with you in a way, after 21 will be a good age until everything is set. And,
right.
And there's so many things before a hair transplant, like hormonal imbalances, like diet, like scalp treatments, that all contribute to a good hair transplant to begin with, and like a good outcome if they actually did it at the end.
That's the thing. Sorry, that's the thing. When it comes to young patients, it comes down to the evaluation, as Kimberly was saying. Because here's the thing: a young guy who still has his hair, but he's losing, but not gone all the way. So maybe treatment is something that we can do. But sometimes I have seen young guys in their 19s and even 20s with a big loss, big hair loss. And for those type of cases, then, hey, you want to do hair transplant as soon as possible, because, that thing is gone. Right. And so for that matter, the evaluation process is the key for every patient, because everyone is different. Every case is different. Of course, preferably, I would say hair transplant after 30s. Me personally, I will say hair transplant after the 30s. But if the case is that bad, then you might want to get that hair transplant early, you know, and that's the thing about the evaluation process. And this is what we want to let you guys know, you the viewers, you know, wherever you're thinking about your hair, go through professionals, go through a dermatologist, go to a hair transplant surgeon, go to a trichologist, seek out options and make sure that you're getting the right treatment. See if you got anything else before you go to a hair transplant. And if everything has been done and you have reached to the maximum of what your scalp is able to provide, and you still want to get more hair, then hair transplant is for you. That's the whole key. And sometimes people will do the hair transplant first and then do treatments later. That's okay. But as long as you take care of what caused the hair the hair to fall out in the first place, then that will make sure that you will be able to keep it. Because if you don't do that, and that's, you know, Kimberly, you may see this a lot of times, and besides you as well, because you were working with a couple of hair transplant surgeons as well. You will see patients that will do the hair transplant, they'll be happy, they will disappear. Simply, they will ignore all warnings, they will ignore all regimens of maintenance, and they'll be back in a couple of years to get another transplant.
Yeah. People don't understand that the hair transplanted hair it will stay, but what about the other hair that you had to begin with? So this is where maintenance, like Kimberly, will see them after the hair transplant, right? To maintain what they have.
Correct. Or just being on the proper protocol. And people do have the mindset that they, well, I'm just going to get a hair transplant and that's going to solve all my problems. And it's not. Like you still need to be on a protocol, because those hairs, just like Bauman said, those hairs that are around the hairs that were transplanted, they're still subject to hair loss, you know? Like they really are. So like you have to, I try to get people to understand, take hair loss as a disease. And as long as you have that disease, you always need to treat the disease. It doesn't stop. It's always there. So as long as you have it, just like high blood pressure, as long as I have high blood pressure, I have to treat it. As long as you have hair loss and you value the hair that you have and you want to keep it, you have to treat it. There's no way around it.
That's a great analogy. Great. I love that.
You can't there's no shortcuts. There's no quick fix.
Yeah.
If you have a disease, you got to treat it.
And there's no one pill, and there's no one serum, and there is no one thing.
Correct. And whatever you do, I like to tell people, whatever you do, you're married to it. Okay. You're married to it. Because as long as you want to continue the results that you've received, you have to continue using it. Another thing clients or patients like to do is they like to get on something, they see the results, and then they like to back off and not be consistent.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
So when they want to divorce that treatment, they have to come through you.
That's the thing. They will have to see us again and be like, told you so. It's hard, but
they're going to win because they're going to take everything that they bought into the relationship. They're taking it back with them.
Right. And they're going to lose everything if they don't continue, because they're going to go back to what they came from. Very good. Wow. We came from hair into social studies right now.
but it's beautiful. It's beautiful, you know, for us to see the different stages into a treatment plan, and, you know, to give people a real idea of what taking care of your hair really looks like. I mean, if you're really losing hair, if you're experiencing heavy shedding, if you have very thin hair, what are your options? You have to look out for it, and, you know, consider that not only did you get you're able to get treatment or maybe hair transplant, but there's a maintenance process, and into that maintenance process is something that you have to keep doing. Now, Carrie, I want to bring you into this part because maintenance, sometimes a lot of people forget about visiting the hairstylist, and hairstyling is just as much as everything else, because if you don't love the hair that you already have, the hair that you're getting, if you don't love it, if you don't take care of it, if you don't style it properly, you will still hate it. And, you will not be satisfied with the results. And sometimes a haircut, a hair coloring, even to style it properly, changes everything for a client. Walk us through that process, Carrie.
Oh yeah, cut and color means everything. And well, first off, with people not maintaining the hair, I see it with me when I do hair extensions with people, and we get them on a protocol to grow their hair out long, and they're able to take the extensions out because they got to where they want to be. And then they go back to their old ways of using poor product and over processing and yada, yada, yada. And they're like, yeah, my hair's back to the way it was. It all broke off. I'm like, well, yeah, you're bleaching it, you're flat ironing it, you're not using the tools I told you. It's maintenance. But again, that's education on my behalf as a stylist to tell them how to take care of things and, and set expectations. I think that's key. And a lot of stylists and trichologists, I think that is a key thing too, is that when you get them to where they want to be, they don't do follow up and give them set expectations from our end and on their end. You know what I mean? But a cut does do everything. Like I specialize in wash and wear haircuts, and I do a lot of people's fine hair, and you could totally with fine hair do an illusion, I guess, of thicker, fuller hair, depending on the techniques that you use. I'm known for it. So people come to me because of my wash and wear, and I'm with my training that I'm able to really make it look fuller than it actually is. But, and a good stylist is somebody who researches and tries and plays and gets outside of the box and uses the foundations and the skills that they got and kind of create their own skills and assets to make a haircut look thicker and fuller than it is. So yeah, but in color too, you can make it look thicker and fuller. I see a lot of people like, oh, put bleach and it'll make it thicker. No, when you bleach, you're actually thinning it. You want to use a demi to make it feel thicker, to pause it and stuff. So there's a lot of tricks and stuff that you could do to make hair look thicker and fuller. But when it comes to after having transplants and stuff too, if you don't have the proper maintenance, like I know you get the surgery, you would get the transplants, you know how to maintain it, you have your procedures, but a good stylist too will help you make it look great too.
Because a hair transplant also can give you like so much depending on your donor area. So at least a stylist can create whatever the doctor can give you or transplant, then the stylist can play a great role in here, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Kimberly. So I have been knowing you for a long time right now, and I know you're a very, very ambitious lady, and you have so many dreams in trichology, in hair, in products. Tell us, what are your vision for trichology in the next 10 years?
Ooh.
I know. Tell me all the things you're doing, then you answer my question.
It's kind of a loaded question because, you have to understand, guys, that we're talking with Kimberly Jenkins. And the reason why I state this is because at Bauman Medical, these people, they have the latest toys, the latest instruments, the latest treatments. And if you want to grasp, into the future, this is one of the places that you want to be at. And so if you're asking Kimberly into the future, the future is already there at Bauman. So going a bit further into that. So walk us a bit, Kimberly, of the things that you guys are already doing and what do you, of course, see in the future, maybe, because I know you're doing your own investigations and you're doing your own studies and many things. And of course, we don't want to spoil that up, but what can you give us into the future? Without giving it up, you don't need to give anything up in advance.
So lots of studies a lot of different studies to really get some clarity on a lot of things that are already out and about, and how everything is supposed to help with hair growth and things like that. I'm just going to say studies, a lot of studies, so that we can make sure, so we can use the best products. You know, there's so many products on the market. How do you know what's really working? How do you know what's the best? Is it microneedling? Is it TED? Is it this? What's the best protocol? Well, you know what? Honestly, there is no best protocol because everybody's different. There's so many different serums on the market. There's so many different hair products on the market. There's so many different shampoos and conditioners, but I wanted just to be able to weed out all the foolishness and have some real data about real things that really work. So like that is definitely, you know, some of the things in the woodwork. As far as surgical side, I don't really know because I'm not really, I stay on my side of the building. But for me in trichology, it's definitely a lot of studies, you know, more toys. I like toys. I just bought a new toy to kind of help me with my study. Just trying to cut through, honestly, to cut through the crack and see what stuff really works. There's so much stuff on the market. There's so many videos. There's so many people saying, oh, try this for hair growth. Try this for hair growth. Like I'm sick of it. And everybody has tried this and this for hair growth with no scientific data. So if we can get some data and some, hey, you know, I use this really worked. This is what I've learned, or this is what I saw. And to be able to help other trichologists or, you know, clients or patients or whatever, that's what, you know. And, you know, I'm just going to put it out there prayerfully, you know, products, different products and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're very interested in products and different products. So do you think that people who are hearing us and they're fed up with the hair loss industry, because like you said, there's a billion of things and people will go online and they don't know what to do, right? Because there's billions of successful story that doesn't necessarily apply to me or you or her, whatever it is. So do you think that the trichology the trichology business or the trichology science will be big enough that a lot of people will, oh, I have a hair loss, I need to call a trichologist? Do you think we're heading that way?
I think we're heading that way. However, I think that the trichologists, us and the ones coming up behind us, we all need to be on the same page. And we need to be on the same page. And two, we need to realize as trichologists that guess what? At the end of the day, I cannot see everybody. Sergio can't see everybody. Basan can't see everybody. Carrie can't see everybody. So let's share information, what works and what doesn't work. Why hold everything to yourself when you can't treat everybody in the whole United States as it is? So making sure that we're like all on the same, we don't have to be doing the same treatments, but we're like on the same wavelength, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Love that you're saying this, because this is the whole point of the whole hair wire, is to bring a collective consensus, a collective community for patrons and for the professional. And I love that you're saying that, because even as a stylist, I've been in the hair industry. I'm a veteran. I'm 42. I grew up in the salon. And the amount of time stylists, and I don't know, Kim, if you know, I also have a marketing degree, so I'm always in marketing. And so people are always saying, well, I can't be next to that salon because it's competition. Well, you know what? I owned a salon downtown Calgary for many years, and there was 14 salons within one block of me. I was successful. We worked, and a lot of us collaborated. The ones that collaborated, we are still there. The ones that did not work together, guess where they are? They're gone. because we work together, and you can't do it all. And even when I educate stylists on building their business, I say, focus on what you want to do, but learn as well. Like, I don't like barbering. I'm not going to take all the barbering clients, but I know Sergio is a phenomenal barber. He's around the corner. Go see him. Tell him Carrie sent me. There you go. I specialize in hair extension color correction. Well, Sergio does not want to touch color correction. Especially somebody with a level 9, he went a box black dye. Like, they don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Send it to the person who knows. And you collectively work together, and you can't do it all. And that's one thing I'm always pushing is stress management. And I specialize in epigenetics and being aware of your awareness and your stress levels. And if you're trying to do it all, you're just going to burn yourself to the ground. And then you're going to get sick, and then you're useless to everybody, including yourself, your children, your family, your partners. So work to collective, and it takes a village, and we rise together as a whole. So I love that you're saying that. Like, let's oh, Kimberly, I just want to hug you right now because you're on the same page. And that's the way it is. That's how we grow. We share, and it's okay to, like me, I dabble. I'm like, I know how to do SMP. It doesn't mean I promote it as something I do, but I want to learn it because it's fun, it's cool, and it's something I could offer, but I'm not the expert in it. I know where I stand. I stay in my lane, but I still offer it. But, doesn't mean you don't have to do everything, or if you want to try it out just to be knowledgeable about it, go for it. But we got to work together and quit hiding and being so secretive. And I do see that with trichologists all the time. And I tell you, it irks me. I just roll my eyes. I'm like, okay, have fun. See you later.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why trichology didn't take off yet. Yeah. Though it is an old science from last century, and still people till this day, when I say I'm a trichologist, you're what? Till this day. And that's our mission in the hair wire. And also I want to add to what Carrie is saying, that everybody has a niche, and hair loss is a multifactorial. Maybe I know toxicity, Kimberly knows, I don't know, like everybody does have a niche. And actually I want to mention that I listened to this, I'm sure you heard about her. Her name is JJ Virgin. She's like a very famous she's a very famous nutritionist. She's not a nutritionist. She's just gives advice about food and food plans and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I think it's an old lady, right?
Yes, she's very famous, and she had her own problems with dieting, and then she figured it out, and now she's sharing it with the world. And she said the reason she was successful, and the reason Dr. Oz is successful, and the reason, like she mentioned, many doctors that are successful because they stick to their lane, stick to your niche. She was talking like specifically, like if you're a dietitian, for example, so you don't market yourself as a dietitian, you market yourself as glucose intolerance specialist, like that specific of a niche. Then this is how people got massively successful, because if you market yourself with a very, very specific subcategory, not even category, not like blood glucose, no, like intolerance of like food intolerance, food sensitivities, then all the people in the United States will come to you because you have this specific subcategory. Then you will be famous. This is how all of these guys are famous now. And then you can solve other problems too, that's fine, but stick to your lane.
Yes. Can I piggyback on that? Like,
please.
I'm so a believer in sticking in your lane and having a community. You need a community of people, because you're not going to be able to do everything. Like, I love coming up with protocols for scalp treatments. Like, I love products. I love science. I love trying to figure it out. But guess what? I personally don't want to sit and talk to you about your diet. So I want to be able to refer to you to my trichologist friend that I know that is amazing at diet and body function and stuff like that. Like, you're absolutely right. Everybody has a niche. Have your specialty, but have a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like that saying, it takes a village. When you're raising a child, it takes a village in trichology, because we all can't do everything,
Yeah.
you know, and
And
some are stronger in some areas than others. So
And that's why trichology didn't take off, for that specific reason. We do not have a community. And here on the hair wire, we
We're
are.
building that community.
Yes, true. Like Sergio couldn't even wait for me to say it. It's like,
Sorry, guys, I almost
I know.
exploded.
Yeah,
But
and
hey, guys,
Kimberly, through all this too. Sorry, Sergio, I'm gonna have like I do a lot of the yes, I went to school for cosmetology and trichology, but I found even with my niche is best suited helping trichologists market their business and collaborate. Like that's the direction I'm going with the hair wire, is to be that mentor and that coach for people to get their trichology and connect all those pieces. And it's funny because like with this hair wire, we're really niching down and really finding the who-tos in the lanes and bringing us all together. So yeah, we're gonna have
Hey,
Like,
at the end of the day, for customers, that's what they need to understand. You know, maybe I started with Kimberly, maybe I started with Carrie, maybe I started with Bissam, maybe I started, with Sergio. And what we're gonna be doing is, we're gonna be working on what we are strong at, and we're gonna be referring you to the other experts, and we're gonna have precisely a tribe of experts working in community to get your best hair ever. That's the whole key. That's the whole key, because there's no one person, there's no one place where you can get it all. Unfortunately, and even Bauman's, they got pretty much.
they got the idea.
They got a lot of stuff, but
No, but
you don't
I'm
have
saying
everything.
that Dr. B understood the idea, and that's why he hired a trichologist on in his clinic, because he understood that hair surgery is hair surgery, and people need hair surgery. Perfect, but there's also people who don't need hair surgery or need pre-op or post-op. So like, see how this is how, like Kimberly was saying, he's a visionary. This is how he understood the power of community, and that's why he trusts you, and he will ask you for your scalp, like if a person has a scalp condition, for your opinion or your treatment plan, and he will respect it, because even he has a doctor's degree. It's a community, and like everybody has their different expertise.
I hope we're bringing him on. He's like a magical unicorn. I want to bring him on.
Well, ask Kimberly to do the work.
we can convince Bauman to walk in here into the show one time.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, well, Kimberly, you do the work.
Yeah. We'll do something.
I have yet to meet him, but we follow each other, and I would love to meet him. And just because everything I hear about him, he sounds like my type of people.
Dr. B is really cool. He's very down to earth. Like, it's been an amazing opportunity. Like, honestly, amazing opportunity working here. So.
Yeah. And I got the amazing opportunity that Kimberly gave me to spend 1 week with them too. So I loved them so much when I was there. So they're very, very nice people, and they work as a team. They are very close to each other, and they respect each other. And this is how a successful business should look like.
Yeah.
I really like this stuff, guys. So we're about out of time. We're almost an hour out. So yeah, that's a funny thing, how time flies by when you're having fun and when you are with friends. And I love this community, and I love you guys. Kimberly, we want to thank you so much for your time. You bring a lot of energy. We need to have you more. We need to have you more here at the Hair Wire. So whenever you're available, please connect with us, because we really would like to have you more. And guys, what can we say? We are a community of trichologists. We are a community of people who are excited about hair, and it shows. We just can't contain. We can talk about hair for hours, days, and that's the beauty of this. And of course, we want to help you out to understand what is happening to you and get you the best hair possible. So stay connected, stay hair smart with the Hair Wire, and we'll see you next week. God bless you all. Bye-bye, guys. Let me find the button where I stop transmitting here. Okay.